Today I have a review of the Olight PL2 Pro weapon light. This is a version of the PL2, but the Pro offers a few changes. One of the major ones here is the magnetic charging here on the bottom. That also works with a remote pressure switch. It's got neutral white LEDs, and this one is rechargeable, like I said. Thanks to Skybin for sending this to me to take a closer look at. A reminder, guys, if you haven't joined the social media groups, make sure you do. I've got a Facebook page for the channel. Like me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter, or there's Patreon as well. Make sure you follow those, and links in the description below. So here is the packaging the light comes in. It's pretty standard to similar Olights. You've got a picture of the light on front, a couple stats. No stats on the back on this one. Accessories for this include the Picatinny insert, a Glock insert's pre-installed on the light. You get a couple extra screws, Torx driver, the new faster MCC1A charger, and the manual. Skybin also includes a couple extras with this. If you buy from them, you get a battery holder here, even though the light doesn't actually have user replaceable batteries, and you get this USB light here, kind of a cheap little something to throw in a purse or bag or something like that. With my light, I also got the RPL7 magnetic pressure switch. It comes in a small Ziploc bag. It's got a couple zip ties to tie this plastic holder on to the mount of your weapon, and it's a magnetic system that I'll talk about here in a moment. So let's talk about the construction of this new light. The body itself is made from hard anodized aluminum. The battery compartment is contoured, very similar to the PL Pro, which I've got here. They're very similar sized lights. The Pro carries over the mounting system from the PL2 RL, and what I mean by that is here, it's got this system that when I push over, you can see it expands a little bit. What this means that when it's on your weapon, I've got it mounted here, it's fixed, but if I unlock it, it won't drop free. It's on there pretty decently. You have to press that mount system and disconnect like that. As I mentioned, it's got that Glock insert pre-installed. You can switch it out to a Picatinny if you don't have a Glock. A difference in construction here in the back where the PL2 has got a battery door here that opens up. The Pro doesn't have a need for that since it's rechargeable. If we look at the front here, they are pretty much the exact same. Other than that, they're very, very similar in physical appearance. The rear switches here do not press in, they only press from the sides. They have a nice tactile click and feel pretty good. And on the bottom here is the magnetic recharging system. This is what we've known from Olight for a while now, only this time it's on a weapon light. They've got a little half circles here. This helps lock in that charging system, but more importantly, for the remote pressure switch, which I've got here, that really fits perfectly on there and just secures that connection just a little bit more. You can't pull to get it off. Those bumpers stop that. So I'm pulling here really hard. I don't want to actually pull the wires out, so I won't do that anymore. But that's what that's for. You can't obviously just pull off and it'll come off. On the other side of the remote pressure switch, this is a mount that mounts onto your Picatinny rail system on most firearms. The remote pressure switch does come out, but other than that, it's just pretty standard. So something I wish here, I've got the remote pressure switch here mounted on top, or kind of put in place to how it would work on a rifle. And my rifle that you can see here is a flat top, doesn't have a rail the whole length of the light or the weapon. So it's something I kind of wish Olight would come up with a M-lock system so I could come into the cams here and lock in. But you can see here, this is kind of what it looks like mounted on a weapon. I've got it actually upside down because it's the way I've got my camera oriented here. But you can see it works pretty nice, easy to fit on there, depending on your setup of your individual gun. That pressure switch fits on there nice. And then you've got a cord that's plenty enough to give you room and then activate it. So for me, I wish they'd come up with an M-lock system, but other than that, it works pretty well. Size and weight wise, the PL Pro is basically identical to the PL2. The only difference is the bottom. There's a little extra nibs here that I mentioned, and it's just a little bit wider in width, or a little bit higher in width. The PL Pro 2 is 32.4 millimeters. The PL2 is 30.5. So I suspect some holsters will probably fit that, depending on how close fit it is. I don't have any PL2 holsters that fit my guns. I kind of use it as a nightstand light, the 2 for the moment, but that'll have to vary. Officially, Olight says they won't fit. Weight of the PL Pro is actually about 13 grams lighter, and the PL Pro is IPX6 rated, same as the PL2. I'm going to read the series of numbers here. The first one's going to be the PL Pro, second one's going to be the PL2. So length is 81 versus 80 millimeters. Height is 32.4 millimeters versus 30.5. Width is 36.6 on both lights. And weight of the PL Pro is 103.4 grams with batteries and everything. PL2 is 116.1 grams. Bit of family comparison shots here. I've got all the Olight weapon lights, current generation, that are being produced and sold. You can see the PL2, PL Pro is very similar in size. PL2 red laser version is similar in width, but just a lot thicker due to the red laser on there. And then we've got the PL Mini on here, obviously much smaller light, much different light. So here is the PL Pro on a full-size Glock. You can see it does stick out a bit. The buttons are pretty easy to hit. We've got medium hands. I've got to shift my grip just a little bit to reach out there, but that's the same with the original PL2. And here it is on a Glock 19. You can see it, shorter gun, it sticks out further. Again, no more than the PL2 did. The PL Pro is using a Cree XHP 35 HI LED in neutral white. This is the same LED as the PL2, but in a different tint. My PL2 is in a cool white, and my PL Pro here is running, right now only comes in neutral white. While I applaud Olight for offering a neutral white, usually that's my preference. The bin they've chose here has a good amount of green to it, and it's especially noticeable at the lower output modes. In my comparison shots here, it's pretty noticeable which is cool white and which is the neutral white. The beam's identical to the PL2 due to being the same reflector and LED being used, with the only difference being the tint. The light has a medium-sized hotspot that throws pretty well out past about 150 yards. Okay, here are my night shots for the Olight PL Pro. And this is full 1500 lumens. Now, I'm not quite in my normal spot that I usually film, but this is going to have to do for tonight. We can see here's a nice, got a nice hot spot. It's an even beam, and at this distance of, I'd say about 100 yards, it does a nice job, throws to the end there. This is high mode. If I double click, I get the low mode, which is 600 lumens. 600 lumens still does a pretty nice job. Here is the old Olight PL2. You can see that cooler white beam is kind of a more neutral tint in this LED. If I've got the PL Pro next to it, we can see it's a bit brighter. Beams are similar sizes, but the big difference is tint. You can kind of almost see it here with the lower mode a little bit better. So on the left is the PL2, on the right is the PL Pro. Again, distance-wise, they're very similar, but tint, you can see a big difference in them. Don't forget the PL Pro has strobe. So again, there is the lower 600 lumen mode, and there is the higher 1500 lumen mode. And if we pan, we can see it throws pretty well, easily to the end of the block. In my runtime tests, they were pretty accurate with what Olight says. The internal battery is rated for 900 milliamp hours. On the full 1500 lumens, the light lasts for only 1.5 minutes. Past that, it saw a 60% relative output decrease and ran for another 35 minutes. And now this sounds like a big drop, and it is, but it's still quite a bit of light. probably more than you need for any close combat pistol type operations, but hunting or any rifle type work, you probably want that 1500 lumens. Next, the light saw a drop right down to about 20% relative output, where it ran for another 10 minutes before shutting off. Step downs at the beginning are timed and then voltage controlled from then on out. Step downs are relatively sharp and sudden, and be nice to add maybe a couple of flashes when you're about 5-10 minutes from the end, just so you know, and maybe conserve power or something like that. Recharging of the built-in 900 milliamp hour battery is really simple. I mean, this light's charging right now. All I did was plug it into a USB source and tap it on, and you're charging. That's accomplished with Olight's MCC A1 charging system, and it's compatible with other older Olight charging systems except for the PL Mini's special charging system with the different polarity there. I saw a complete recharge in 1 hour and 18 minutes at a max of 0.9 amps. UI is a little different on the PL Pro. The light has two modes, a low power 600 lumen mode and a high powered 1500 lumen mode. So it's really easy to switch between them. The light here is on low power mode, and all I'm going to do is double click the paddle and I'm on high power mode. And you do the same thing to go back down. This is pretty similar to other Olights, how you get to turbo, so it should be familiar. So the light also has a low power lockout mode of about 300 lumens, so it doesn't burn a hole in your gun bag or something like that. This light is powerful enough to do that. And how you get to it is pretty easy. You click and hold one paddle for about 3 seconds, then you click the other one for about 3 seconds, the light's going to shut off. At this point, the light is on that low lumen mode. To reverse that, you just repeat the process but in reverse, so hold in for about 3 seconds, hold the other paddle for about 3 seconds, and the light's on low. You also have strobe by clicking both paddles at the same time. And then you've got the paddles that offer momentary and locked on. So you can just quick tap and that is locked on, or you can press and hold and that's momentary. So for me, the pros of the PL Pro are it's rechargeable and really convenient. It's cheaper to run if you're going to use it for a lot of hours of runtime. It's a nice integration with that remote pressure pad here. It's literally just click on, you're tapped on, and then that remote pressure pad is fully functional. The magnet is pretty strong. I can suspend the light from that, and it will bounce around a decent amount too. So they've done a nice job of giving it a very strong magnet. That also gives you the ability to mount this to a rifle, whether it's your AR, your hunting light rifle, or it doesn't matter. I like that they've done neutral white. That green tint for me is a little bit of a deal killer on those lower outputs, but on the higher outputs, it's less noticeable. Some holsters that are going to fit the PL2 or may fit that PL Pro. They're pretty similar in dimensions. Your luck may vary, so you'll have to check out the holsters that you own or go to a store with them to check it out. So for me, the cons are that LED choice resulted in a beam that has a green tinge. The battery isn't user replaceable easily. On other low lights, I've been able to see screws to maybe get this top cover off. This doesn't have that. It's got a pin there, and then I assume it's kind of sonic welded or something like that. It's pretty user non-replaceable. And it's got timed step downs for turbo. Light of this cost range, I'd really expect a thermally controlled step down. So my conclusion is the Olight PL Pro Valkyrie continues to show what Olight has learned from making weapon lights in the past. The little refinements of making a low power mode that's still at 300 lumens to lock the light out and prevent it from literally burning a hole in your bag is a smart idea. I like that integration of that remote pressure switch as well as being magnetic so it can break free if it got caught or something like that. It's easy to reattach as well. Olight's tint choice for LEDs continue to confuse me a little as a whole. I like neutral white, that's good, but they've chosen one that's kind of green and tingy, and that's just not ideal. My only thought is if this was for hunters, it'd kind of bring out the green of things, maybe make an animal stick out or red stick out a little bit more. And hunters are also probably more likely to be using that recharging feature as they're more likely to use runtime. In a tactical setting, you're probably not going to be actually turning on the light on your weapon all that often. The downsides of the neutral white, at least for me here, are that extra green tinge I see. Overall, if you like the PL2, you're really going to like the PL Pro, I think. And if you're interested, check out Skybin's listing on Amazon in the description below. You'll get it super fast if you have Prime shipping from Amazon. As always, guys, let me know what you think of the PL Pro in the comments below. If you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them. And as always, make sure you give this video a like. You're following my channel. You're following the social media links in the description. And I'll see you on the next review soon.